ready na ta to listen to this very important nga talk for today. Now, but before anything else, let's start with the prayer to be led by Ma'am Ling Ling. You have the online floor po. Ma'am Ling Ling, you have the online floor to lead us a prayer for this afternoon po.
Blitzkrieg na lang ta, so let's all put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. For the Catholics, you can make the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Heavenly Father, we praise and worship you and give you thanks and thank you for this day that we are celebrating and commemorating the World Press Freedom Day 2024 in Bukidnon. We thank you for the gift of life, the gift of profession, the gift that you have given to us in our work sa Bukidnon Media. We thank you for the different groups that set this up together and for everyone who are already in the room o sa katong musuluray pa nga nag-indicate nga mo-appeal sila. We pray, Lord, that you will be with us in the middle of us in this meeting and you will shower your blessings and you will also bless our plans. Keep the media in their work, in their important work, safe every day. And may you bless us, Lord, with prosperity and sustainability. All this we pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you so much for that wonderful prayer, Sir Waltz. So, di na to patugayon pa to formally start our World Press Freedom Day. May I call in virtually Mr. Juanito Jun Aroa, President of Bukidnon Press Club, to be represented by Mr. Rudy Tagima Cruz. Sir Rudy, I'm giving you the virtual floor.
Sir Arman Binabaye, by the way, is the one who will give the opening remarks instead of the two officials because they cannot join us virtually.
All right, sir. Thank you for that. Sir Arman Binabaye of, I believe, Love Radio po. You have the online floor.
Okay, may hapon sa tanan. Good afternoon. Do you hear me? How's my audio? Okay ba akong audio? Okay. All right, may hapon sa tanan. Today marks the World Press Freedom Day, and the media plays an important role in the community in information propagation, and the personal safety is an integral part of the job of being a media. With this forum, we expect updates on how to stay alive, being safe in our job, and enhanced capability in reporting. In behalf of the KBP Bukidnon Chapter, Bukidnon Press Club, NUGP, and other media in Bukidnon, I would like to welcome everyone to this informative caucus. Thank you very much and mayong hapon.
Thank you so much, Sir Binabaye. So let's move forward for our rationale. May I call in the virtual floor, Mr. Walter Ibalane, our Booksu DevCom faculty and editor, bookidnonnews.net. Sir Walter, you have the virtual floor.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Therese Matias of the Development Communication Department of Buksu. Thank you for granting my short notice request to be the MC for this afternoon. Truly, no, this is a short notice commemoration. Actually, I will just give a big background. I was really waiting for kanang initiatives and agreement from the different groups. Okay, pero apparently medyo na busy gid no tanan no, and then because I was supposed to be in Manila to attend the first media safety summit pero na-cancel na on siya may akong biyahe. I'm supposed to be the one who will be reporting if ever no nga maka-attend ko dito pero wala man ko na dayon. So on short notice nag-organize ta ani nga Bukidnon commemoration because somebody from the first Philippine Media Summit agreed to give us a sharing later on, to give us updates on the national situation, what is being done right now in the first Philippine Media Safety Summit in Manila, and then how are we commemorating it in the Philippines no, ang World Press Freedom Day. So they're doing an important work for all of us there, and I think importante po na atong madunggan ang ilahang ang mga updates from there. So the main reason why we are celebrating World Press Freedom Day is because we believe that press freedom is important, and our job no is being protected by press freedom, and while we are being protected, we are also supposed to be working na magpadayon gihapon magpabilin ang world ang press freedom dinhi sa ato ang area sa Bukidnon. And we are very happy no. I would like to recognize the presence of the different media entities who are here. So we have from DXBU, we have from Mindanao Gold Star Daily, we have from DXIQ, we have from Bandilio, we have from PIA, we have from BNFM Valencia, we have from Brigada News, we have from Brigada News NUJP, we have the Development Communication Department, we have from PIA, we have from FM Radio 105.1 Bukidnon. And then we have from PAIA, I think the Philippine Public Affairs Information Assistance. Wonder Malay Balay Radio. And then Paliyog na lang ko indicator, we have from CMU, OP, PRIO, no, Office of the Public Relations and Information. Net 25, PIA, and then we already have in the floor our executive director from the National Center for Community Development and Journalism and Development, Mr. Red Batario. We will be introducing him shortly, and then the rest are from the DevCom faculty. About 34 people committed to join us this afternoon, and we are already 24, so I hope the rest will also be joining in. Ma'am Tai, I don't want to delay anymore the the presentation of Sir Red Batario. So we would like to skip muna the rest of the program because he has to come back. He has to return, I mean, to the session. No? They have a plenary session ongoing. So I will now introduce him so that he can already present his updates. Good afternoon, Sir Red. I hope it's okay to proceed.
Hi, good afternoon, Walt. And
Yes,
thank
Sir
you for
Red.
inviting me. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll just give a very short background. No, Sir Red Batario has been with us. No, I think World Press Freedom Day celebration in 2014. He came over to Bukidnon to give us updates and to give us inputs. No, Sir Red Batario is the executive director of the Center for Community Journalism and Development, or CCJD, and he's also one of the main organizers. He's the person behind the first Philippine Media Safety Summit ongoing in Manila. So he's a known journalist, renowned journalist for quite some time. Although in the later years, he has been investing his work in media organizations, in organizing media events and training in the lines of community development, public journ, and lately in disaster and safety. So let me help you welcome. Let's welcome our resource person, Mr. Red Batario. Good afternoon, Sir Red.
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. And again, Walt, thank you very much for inviting me to this to your activity in Bukidnon. It was unfortunate that we were not able to process your invitation sooner, so you would have been able to join us here in Manila. But nonetheless, this is also an opportunity for us to be able to share with you what's happening right now with regards the first Philippine Media Safety Summit being held here in Quezon City. To begin with, it's a summit that looks at two major objectives. One is to look at and review what we have achieved so far in the implementation of the Philippine Plan of Action on the Safety of Journalists that I will explain in a little while. And the other one is to ensure the commitment of a multi-stakeholder coalition to push forward not only the results of this summit, but also the implementation of the Philippine Plan of Action. There
Sir
are,
Red,
yes,
Sir Red, can we see you or
wait, wait,
lisod?
wait. I'm just using my phone.
It's okay.
So,
So no problem, no
yes,
problem.
yes, I'm just using my phone. I had to step out of the plenary hall because right now we are working on the draft declaration, and it will be presented for plenary discussion and approval. And after that, after each ratification, then we will be sharing this with organizations and groups like yours. So definitely you will have a copy of the declaration, because this declaration is not only limited to those who are attending here, but also for all media practitioners throughout the country. So to give a very brief background, there are 10 conveners who worked to put this to move this forward. The Safe Summit. One is in alphabetical order. The Asian Institute of Journalism and Communication, my organization, the Center for Community Journalism and Development, the College of Mass Communication of the University of the Philippines, the Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines, or FOCAP, the FMFA, the Freedom for All, Media and Freedom for All movement, and then Minda News, and NUJP, the Peace and Conflict Journalism Network, the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, and the Philippine Press Institute. So, hello, Waltz.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought we were cut. I think I have a very bad connection. But anyway, what we are discussing right now are some of the points raised in the different breakout sessions. Earlier yesterday, the whole day, we had plenary sessions with an overview of the summit provided by Jess Asnar, one of the conveners. He's from the Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines. And our keynote address was provided by Attorney Richard Palpalato, the chair of the Commission on Human Rights. Hello. And the ambassador, the Norwegian ambassador to the Philippines, also read his message of support, as well as Peter Mackenzie of Internews and Lars Besley of International Media Support. And in the afternoon, yesterday, we listened to Dr. Nimia Simbulan, the chair of the Philippine Alliance of Human Rights Advocates, who provided insights on human rights as the overarching framework of journalist safety. And she was followed by Belinda Quintos de Jesus, the executive director of the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility, who discussed the facts and figures and the state of media safety in the Philippines, using the yearly or annual CMFR report on the state of the media in the Philippines. And I was tasked to talk about the Philippine Plan of Action on the safety of journalists. What are the gains and gaps in addressing safety, security, and sustainability issues faced by journalists all over the Philippines? The Philippine Plan of Action, if you still don't know, was crafted in 2019 after more than 18 months of consultations, nationwide consultations with different sectors, multi-stakeholders, meaning government, media, civil society, academia, and other sectors as well. And it included different kinds of activities in terms of bringing it down to the region. So we had dialogues, we had meetings, we had cross visits and training as well on safety. And the Philippine Plan of Action is the first of its kind in the world, and it is patterned after the UN Plan of Action on the Safety of Journalists and the issue of impunity, which looks into how governments around the world will be able to have some sort of a roadmap in terms of addressing safety issues faced by journalists. And again, I would like to add that this is a first in the world, because we are the only country, I think, I would like to believe, that follow the framework and the template of the United Nations. Now, going back to the summit right now, after a series of workshops, breakout sessions this morning. First, we had a panel discussion, which was very, very interesting, um, because we tried to identify and address the vulnerabilities of journalists, especially those working from communities. And we call this session the Stories from the Communities. And it's a conversation uh, on at least six major topics. One is ensuring working conditions and duty of care. What are the issues faced by journalists, by correspondents, media workers, in terms of working for news organizations or working as freelance journalists. The other one is the second session or the second panel discussion was about searching for a sustainable business model, looking at the print and broadcast industry amidst a rapidly changing media landscape, because we can see that social media has really made inroads into what we know as legacy media. And we have a presentation from Baguio about the experience of Herald Express in terms of being able to face the uh, uh, new challenges for the print industry. And Ami Kabusao of Mindanews talked about the experience of Mindanews in setting it up, what were the challenges, and how they were able to craft a new business model that they have survived for a number of years and are still operating until now. And the third speaker in that panel was Paidi Ahmad of the Bangsa Boro Multimedia Network Inc., and talking about also how nonprofits will be able to serve the purpose of bringing the news to the people without necessarily pushing for profit, but rather focusing on mission, which was really very challenging because not many media organizations or media news outlets will be able to do that. And the other panel, which was the third one, was about facing the challenges of freelance journalism. Uh, the fourth topic that we had was addressing gender-based threats and attacks, and this was very interesting because a lot of the sharing based on the personal experiences of different of several women journalists about how they were harassed not only by their sources but also by some of their colleagues and even inside the newsrooms. And I think this is very important uh, to keep in consideration, because this is the very one of the very few times in which issues like this have been raised and discussed in public. So because this is a very sensitive topic, and some victims of sexual harassment, for instance, would rather keep quiet about it rather than share it to a bigger audience. But again, the consensus of the group when they presented this is that um, you cannot keep quiet when you are being harassed. So it's very important for those who have been victimized or have been attacked through these forms of harassment to publicize it, to bring it to the attention of their colleagues, the newsroom, and maybe support groups. So that was a very interesting and exciting discussion also. And the fifth one in the panel discussion was uh, tackling issues confronting visual journalists, meaning news photographers, camera persons, and those who work in with visual images. Our the resource persons there were one from Cagayan de Oro, Bobby Lagsa, and the other one was Vic Quintanar from Cebu, and their names may be quite familiar with you. And the sixth topic that we discussed during that panel discussion was enhancing the role of journalism education in media safety, which was led by Dr. Maria Josa Labiste, professor of the UP College of Mass Communication, and together with John Luciano, the Deputy Secretary General of the College Editors Guild of the Philippines. And several of the cross-cutting themes that were also considered during the discussion were disinformation and artificial intelligence and digital technology, environment, disaster risk, and climate change. Another cross-cutting issue was the continuing vilification, including the red tagging of journalists and activists. And the other one is how to develop partnerships between media, human rights groups, and other sectors in terms of protection and in terms of safety and security. So in the afternoon, right after lunch, we had 6 simultaneous breakout sessions. We had 2 groups working on sustainability. The second topic on security, again 2 groups, and the third on safety, 2 groups again. And right now, the outputs have just been presented in plenary, and now it is being discussed. Questions are being fielded and responded to right now. And then after that, we will present the declaration to the body, for ratification. So essentially, that's the content of the Media Safety Summit that we're having right now. It's also our way of commemorating World Press Freedom Day, and we also are holding this in solidarity with the media in Bukidnon. So yun lang siguro muna. Yes.
Yes, Sir Red. Do you have room for one question? Maybe one of our colleagues may
Sure.
have one or 2 questions. Anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Can you just
Sure.
raise your hand? If I cannot see it, no, not everyone has opened their camera. But one of my questions, Sir Red, is in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Okay.
What is in store for us in the small communities like Bukidnon, no, in terms of our safety and the development of the media here.
Mhm.
1 or 2 points that can be a takeaway from
Yeah.
that event there, Sir Red.
Oo.
What's
Right
in it
now,
for us? Yes.
what's in it actually for all journalists, whether we're working in Manila or working in the communities, what's in store for us is a more defined action points related to the Philippine Plan of Action and specific strategies that are outlined right now in the declaration. I still don't have the specifics of that, but generally what it is saying is that, one, we should work in partnership with other sectors, whether it's with academia, whether it's with human rights groups, because media is being threatened right now from many angles. So we need to be able to address those issues, not just in a vacuum, but we need a whole ecosystem of other sectors to provide that support. One of the things also that was brought out was how to address psychosocial issues. So it's one thing that has often been overlooked, and many of the journalists working in local communities often do not have access to psychosocial support, and that is one thing I think that is important to consider. So what else is there, or what is it the summit or the results of the summit can bring to bear in terms of addressing issues? One, there is now, I think, broader consensus in terms of how we will move forward all the action points outlined in the Philippine Plan of Action in terms of within those five very specific and broad flagship areas. One of the flagship areas, let's say, for example, is talking about integrity and professionalism, which looks into how journalists can perform their functions more responsibly and ethically. It includes the creation of citizen press councils, now being spearheaded by the Philippine Press Institute. The second one is conducive working conditions, meaning it's the duty of care of media organizations to provide good working spaces for their journalists, to provide benefits, to provide safety gear, and so on. And then the third one is safety and protection mechanisms. No, this would include safety training. This would include dialogues with security forces, that sort of thing. In terms of activities, the fourth one is it's about looking into the legal environment. Or how can legislation or policies help in the protection of journalists and in the media? What bills can we look at? What bills can we propose? So that's the legal environment. And the fifth one is journalism education research. This includes media outreach programs. It includes media literacy. So I think it's very important for people and citizens to be able to understand what the role of media is in a democracy. So those are the five main action points contained in the action plan and the Philippine Plan of Action on the safety of journalists. But again, in relation to the declaration right now that is being discussed right now in plenary, it reflects very important and very concrete strategies to address very specific issues in relation to sustainability, how to sustain not only new operations of news organizations, but how to sustain, for example, programs on safety and security, how to sustain not only the viability of newsrooms, but also the practice of good journalism, for instance. The other one is safety, meaning how journalists can be equipped to protect themselves while on coverage, for instance, to better equip themselves. And the third one is security, to be able to deal with all these threats and challenges that come their way. So siguro yun, specifically what will happen after the summit is we're looking at a post-summit strategy wherein we will bring all the results from this discussion, from this summit to local areas, including Bukidnon. That's one. So we look forward to coming over to Bukidnon.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
still
Thank you
here.
very much, sir.
Yeah.
We will be able to accommodate you and we invite you here in Bukidnon so that we can have a full discussion, no, and di tayo magmamadali, no, and so that our colleagues here can also ask some of their vital questions. Thank you very
I
much,
still have
Sir Red.
okay, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
too. But
Anything else?
I can still field one or two questions if you want.
All right. Miss Tai, can you facilitate the Q&A? I think there are two more questions that he can accommodate two more questions. So yes, Miss Tai?
All right. Sorry. Let me fix the echo first. All right. Okay, so if any of you has any question for our guest speaker today, Mr. Red Batario, you may raise them now. You can either raise your hand via the reaction button or you can paste your questions sa atong meeting chat.
And then with that goes contingency plan.
Hi, Sir Waltz. Hi, Therese.
Hello,
I think
ma'am.
Sir
Good
Rudy
afternoon.
Tahima Cruz. have few questions. Duha raman di ay, no? Sir Rudy.
Nakamute ka,
All
Sir
right, Sir
Rud.
Rudy. Sir Rudy, can you please unmute yourself? Sir Rud, parang nakamute ka pa rin po.
Nakamute ka, sir. Nakamute si Sir Rudy.
Sir Gab, pwede ni mo ma-unmute si Sir Rudy? Do you have access? Or kinsa atong host gani for today, Sir Waltz? Can you please unmute Sir Rudy? Ay, I think okay na. Ayun. Thank you.
Dito sa rural areas, there is a feeling that whatever you say on radio, they always entertain doubts whether what you are dishing out is true or not. Because we are now in the depth of information dissemination. How can we convince our listeners that our story is really objective? How do you address that, Sir Red?
Thank you very much for that question. It's actually very challenging right now because we radio, as we know it, newspapers are as we know them, are slowly falling victim to the onslaught of social media. We must remember that many people now would rather listen to influencers rather than listen to radio programs like yours. And I would like to narrate the experience of one reporter, our colleague, who said that in one of his coverages, he's a newspaper photographer, and he was covering something in one of the provinces here in Luzon. And when he went to this village, into this community, one of the people there approached him and asked him, "Sir, do you have a QR code?" And he asked, why are you asking me for a QR code? And the person said, aren't you an influencer or aren't you a blogger? And then they said, I'm not. I am a newspaper photographer. And you know what the answer was? So you're just a newspaper reporter. So okay, bye bye. It's like no, we don't care about you. What we care about are influencers and bloggers. That's what we are up against. But I think what we can do right now is really uphold the tenets of good journalism. I think it should be emphasized enough, but that's why it is important also for journalists to, let's say, for instance, work with the academy in terms of promoting, in terms of letting people understand better what we're doing. Because if we don't do that, people really have a tendency to have more faith in social media because it's very, very accessible. I don't know about print so much in Bukidnon, but I think radio is still a very powerful tool in your province. So I think one of the things that can be done also is to one because there was a discussion earlier, how do we make our programs or our newscast, our stories more accessible and more appealing to a broad range of audiences? So I think we should also try to harness the advantages or the technology of social media to be able to reach out. I'm not saying that we should abandon radio because I think radio has a very important role to play. But I think what is really also important is for us to be able to emphasize that radio news stories go through a process of verification, which compared to those being broadcast through social media or through the influencers and through bloggers that do not go through a vetting process, unlike the editorial process that we undertake as journalists. It's going to be a difficult process, but I think we have to be able to show people that our stories go through this process because what we want to provide them are accurate stories so that it will help them be able to make very good decisions about the things that they face using your stories as a fount of information. But kailangan natin mapakita not only ito ay dumaan, but the value there is that it went through a process of verification and that hindi lang siya basta lumabas and out of thin air. And verifiable siya and that it can be verified.
Thank you,
Was
Rin.
I able to
Thank you,
answer
sir.
your question? Sige. Thank you very much too.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Red, for answering, Sir Rudy. Basin, napayuban gusto mag-question? Anyone? We still have time for one more question. All right,
thought
I think
saw
wala na.
Ma'am. Okay.
Na, Sir Waltz.
I saw Ma'am Mel Molehon kaganina, no? Were you raising your hand, Ate Mel? I guess wala siguro to, parang nasiplatan lang nako. I think that's all.
Okay.
All right. All right, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Sir Red Batario, for cascading these important updates from the first Philippine Media Safety Summit po. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much too. Bye-bye. Thank you, Waltz.
Bye-bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye,
Sir Ed.
sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, to keep this discussion going, may I request Mr. Rudy Tagima Cruz of Bukidnon Press Club to give a short message, to be followed by Sir Binabaye of 106.3 Love Radio and Ma'am Ching Castuera of National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, Bukidnon Chair. So, Sir Rudy Tagima Cruz, I'm giving you the virtual mic.
Thank you, ma'am. In these times of massive information disinformation, we as broadcasters should strive our best to make our stories fully attributed to the source. That's the message that I'm dishing out, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Rudy, for your message. Now may we request Sir Armando Binabaye of 106.3 Love Radio to give a short message din po.
Okay, may hapon sa tanan. I would like to extend my heartfelt thank you to Sir Waltz for initiating this activity. Thank you so much. For me, Morag is a powerful tool, no, as a being a media. It's a powerful tool in order for us to to portray as a media here in Bukidnon. Para sa ako, mas nindot gyud tato nga we could have kanang we could unite, no? We could unite, murag form an organization that comprises all media in Bukidnon, and then we will go through with this in order to inform them with regards, especially kaning mga media safety. Murag dako kay ni siya role sa atong media, especially nga nata dinhi sa Bukidnon. So I would suggest to Sir Walter, if ever na we could gather together and form in one group para at least we could have kanang maproclaim pag natin nato more ang the agenda or the objective sa ato as a media practitioner. So that's all my recommendation, nga we could kanang gather together and bounce our head together para at least we could go with our messages. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Binabaye, for your message and for your recommendation. Now may we call in Ms. Ching Castuera of our National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, our Bukidnon Chair. Ma'am Ching?
Yes, may hapon. Madunggan ko?
Yes po, ma'am. You're audible po.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Salamat kayo, Sir Waltz. Short notice tinuod, pero naningkamot di ko maka-appeal bisan niya ako sa layo. Sa tinuod lang, saktong giingon ni Sir Red, daghan gid kayo ta og mga challenges karon ang mga sakop sa media di lamang sa Bukidnon. Partidyong daghan ang mga challenges tungod kay kita being a media, dili social media. Daghan na gyud kayo ta. Mo na gingon ako sa uban nga ang kung sa una makig-compete lang ta sa atong mga kauban nga nasa radyo, ang friend dili na to sila ka kompetensya sa radyo, kabi ka kompetensya mi karon kay um, ang uban magmahay-mahay na kay unsa maning kuan mga vlogger, unsa maning mga influencer mas gitagaan pa og pabor kaysa atoa blah blah blah. So dako gid kayo nga challenge nga kinahanglan nato nga atubangon o dako sab nga mga adjustment nga atong pagahimuon para nga magpabilin kitang mobarog o dili kita matunaw kay kung dili kita mobarog basin matunaw na hinuon ang atong mga lahi aning dapita. Anyway, salamat kayo Sir Waltz. Salamat everyone. Mayong hapon.
All right, thank you so much, Ma'am Ching Castuera. So I guess that's it, sir, no, for the messages, or should we call anyone else?
We
Sir
can
Waltz?
invite others to give inputs later, Ma'am Thai, or maybe they can ask questions or can give us feedback also later after the mini lecture.
All right, so proceed na ta, sir. Okay, so at this juncture, we will have our mini lecture on reporting environment with the theme going beyond event-based coverage.
Right? Walay lain, Ma'am Thai, ako ra gyud makahatag ani karon kay nag-short notice lagi ta, no? So
Go, Sir Waltz.
I hope you can see my screen. Na full share ba siya, Ma'am Thai? All right.
Yes po,
Sige.
sir.
Okay, so kaning akong mini lecture, itawag na lang ako ni siya mini lecture because it's really just a small input, no, just to para nga ma-address bud nato ang tema karon sa ato ang World Press Freedom Day. Sa Philippine situation daghan kayo ang issues, and but in the international, in the global scale, and even at the local scale, ang issue gud nato is ang environment, no? So we're reporting the environment going beyond event-based coverage. So ang tema sa World Press Freedom Day 2024 is a press for the planet, no? So journalism in the face of the environmental crisis. This theme highlights the crucial role nato, no, sa journalism in addressing the pressing environmental challenges facing our planet. This is equally important po din siya sa issues nga gina-confront sa media, no, media themselves, kita atong mga issues. So while nagakonfront ni ani sa palibot nato, nagadako ang krisis sa environment, and the media's role cannot be underscored, no. We have our role is to raise awareness, no, to help the people pay attention to these very strong environmental issues, no? And by raising awareness, we mean that we are covering the issues that are environmental in nature, and making the public understand, no, that they have a role to play there. Mag-foster po og dialogue, because among the biggest issues confronting us in the world is really resource conflicts arising from the scarcity of resources, no, gaaway sa tubig, gaaway sa boundary sa yuta. So our role in media is not to make this conflict worse, but to transform this conflict into dialogue. So we have that very important role, and also to drive action to mitigate environmental degradation, including climate change and other ecological threats. So this requires that we also understand the issues so that we can cover the issues, the environmental issues properly. There are ways that we can do at the local level na pwede nato siya ma-enhance, pwede nato siya ma-open lang ang atong perspective sa the way we are covering it. So the role of journalist is pivotal, no? Dako kay siya nga role diha sa pag-investigate and at the same time pag-report sa mga environmental issues. So dili lang kanang marag witness lang ta no sa kadaot. So moingon na lang ta nga i-report na lang ang damage, but our coverage can help form policies, can help inform and shape the implementation of laws, no, so that this particular uh, laws can help also shape practices not just in bigger scale, but also even in the way we use our Sawaga River, our Pulangi River, the resources that are accessible to us. We can also hold governments accountable, not only governments but also corporations, no, those who are making the business because their operations are affecting how sustainable will our resources get, no, and how our people, how the residents, how our audience, how the citizens can access these resources in a sustainable manner. So ang atong role will be a bit of empowering communities so that we can also advocate for sustainable solutions. So, kani nga pamaagi, pwede nato ni siya mabuhat pinaagi sa pag-pursue nato sa accurate, comprehensive, and impactful reporting. So, when we say accurate, ganid yun no nga pag-cover sa mga storya aron nga tuuhan ta sa atong audience. Okay? I think that is one of our challenges right now na while there are technological disadvantages on our side, but we are also facing the issue nga dili ta tuuhan kay ang mas tuuhan nila kay ang ila makit-an sa Facebook. O kinsa tong mas permi makita sa Facebook kay daghan naman kaayo sila sa Facebook na viral naman, mao na to ang nahimong tinuod. And we can also cover comprehensively, not just focusing our coverage on specific targets or specific topics, no. Although kabalo ko sa mga limitations nato sa community media, but what we're trying to do is that ang atong pag-cover dapat ato pong mapakita ang katibuk-an, ang wholeness sa isa ka storya, dili lang ang isa lang ka aspeto, no, para masabtan sa mga nakatuon ani sa systems thinking, no, kinahanglan makita nato kung paunsa nag-operate, nagatrabaho ang isa ka sistema aron nga masabtan po nato unsa nato siya pag-approach. And impactful reporting, naga-report yung tag on the ground so that we can really gather the information nga gikan gyud sa ubos. So mo kana siya. So ang akong mini lecture will also on the second part is to give emphasis on creating or pursuing stories na dili lang event-based nga coverage. Kay journalism research in the Philippines in the last decade nga nag-study sa atong coverage of the environment, they see nga mas dako na gyud ang need nato to cover environmental stories. Not just because maingon ta nga kanang tungod lang sa climate change na uso na sa tibuok kalibutan, but actually we can already feel these issues getting nearer us, no. So for example sa El Nino, no, and our country is in a disaster prone country, so it has become another layer of reality. Ang problema sa ato based sa ani nga mga research in the last 10 years, including my master's thesis on reporting of community stories in the Philippines, in Bukidnon, nakita nato nga gamay ra gid ang background and context nga na-provide sa atong mga reports about environment. We always tend to report environment sa event-based na pagstorya, no, ug dili siya kayo comprehensive. I will explain further later, no. And most of the sources nga atong gigamit lang sa atong mga articles, sa atong mga radio reports are mga official sources. Sources na nasa gobyerno, nasa negosyo, no. And only very few, or about 5 to 10% of our sources interview people who are directly affected by environmental issues. No? So 10% sa mga ubang mga government offices outside of the local, but 5% only gikan sa grassroots katong gakaigo yun sa mga environmental issues. And with more than half of our reports, no, kay shallow na po ang atong pag-treat sa mga environmental issues. Wala nato na trace ang deeper nga mga causes. Environmental issues were not sufficiently discussed para masabtan gid sa publiko. Tungod siguro kay gamay ra ang airtime, gamay ra ang newspaper space atong awat, no, to explain it. Hopefully we can discover more creative ways nga atong ma-report ang environment. And one of the aspects of this is that ang pagka-present sa atong mga environment stories are impersonal. Marag wala siya impact sa tao. So, and as if it is happening around the world but not here in our locality. So, what this observation means is that kulang ang atong mga stories nga atong na pangutana, na contextualize sa lokal nga mga situation sa katawan. For example, ang pagtratar nato sa issue sa climate change, no? So, unsa man ang naungan ng climate change dinhi sa Bukidnon. So, medyo kulang ang pagsabot siguro o ang atong pagpursu sa mga stories. In most stories, they're merely stuck with figures and official quotes. No, so ang atong ginatansya is na unta nga atong ma-discuss pag with more sufficient data and understanding ang mga environmental challenges. So reporting the environment is also a scientific communication. So kinahanglan pud si media iyahang masabtan ang science behind the incidents, behind the stories of environmental degradation. And we need, tama tong giingon ka ganina nga we need to work with academe, we need to work with NGOs, we need to work with other sectors who are able to pursue these kinds of studies or doing research on these studies. And kinahanglan na ang mga stories are in-depth. Although mingon man na sila sayunan naman na si Walter kay naaman na siya sa bukso, no, pero I am very particular and familiar also with the constraints nato sa resources nato sa community media, labi na ba sa radio. And that is why hopefully hinahinay na itong ma-address ang lack of training on the how to report on the environment. And of course, ang atong mga issues po na economic related sa atong trabaho. So, hopefully, maka-create mga creative nga mga ways to report. For example, the use of photos and videos. The use of these materials can help enhance our capacity to report environmental issues with more depth and with more clarity. Mas dali siya masabtan and hopefully mas dagan ang audience. So let me just run through a few examples of issue-based angles ng mga stories. Now, for example, sa issue-based, DENR apprehend illegal loggers in Cotabato. So nakafocus ang issue-based or event-based dito sa insidente nga nahitabo, which is all right, no? Okay kaayo siya kung day one siya nga story. So on this day nahitabo, so automatic natin i-file nga story. So ang story pa lang yun is ang about pagid sa pagdakop. Pero we have to follow through, mag-follow up yun sa atong mga stories nga gi-cover so that ma-report na to fully ang katibuk-an lugar nga storya may tungod sa mao nga insidente. So one of the issue-based na angles is, for example, how much percentage of logging had been cut, no, in a number of years. No, so this is really looking at a full picture. If ever ang efforts ba sa DNR sa pagpangdakop sa mga loggers, did it kanang create an impact in terms of how much of the illegal logging operations had been cut down. No? Another is event-based is City Enro reports 64 cases of fire incidents. So dinhi sa Malaybalay ang isa sa mga dako nga issues kaning mga pagpanunog sa atong mga kakahuyan, no, dili banday nila sang mostly, no, kay mga tree plantations and mga yan ay portions of it are lasang. So the way to pursue it maybe is to look at the bigger issues behind the incidents. So for example, any foresters push for more budget for forest protection. Based on my conduct of my study para sa DevCom na ako nga instructional material, na-discover na ako nga ngano sa di ay nga daghan kay pagpanunog, no, kay wala man di ay mga kanang mechanisms input nga system level, no, dili pareho sa protected area sa Mount Kitanglad for example, na sila mechanism nga na put in place sa mga areas outside protected areas sama sa Canayan, walay mechanism nga na put up niya, dili enough ang information drive o ang cooperation between sa gobyerno o sa mga ancestral domain holders, no, kay naadi ay mga historya nga nganong dili na lang man i-hire pud ning mga giakusahan nga manunog dina sa mga lasang aron nga dili na nila sunugon ang mga lasang. So there's more to this story, no, and this is something that wala siya nato na dili tanan apod sa to ang nag-story na inani, pero most of these stories are still, no, marag tip of the iceberg lang ang atong nakuha. Pag-asa reports higher temperature due to El Nino. So usually inana ang level di ara tatama, no, pero we forget the impact of this higher temperature to the multi-stakeholders. So for example, another issue-based treatment would be to look at what is LGU doing to support thousands of corn farmers. So some of us are already doing these kinds of stories, pero malimitahan pa ta, no, unya usahay ang atong perception nga enough na tong nag-cover ta sa event base, pero ang kinahanglan di ay is atong ipalawom pa aron masabtan sa katawhan o sa tanan nga mga stakeholders kung saon ni pag-address ang kani nga mga issues. So it is possible that we can help change the situation of the environment here in Bukidnon through our investigative and issue-based reportage. Dili sa yun, no, and one mini lecture like this cannot change it. We need a lot of things other than lecture. We need training, we need budget, we need kanang coordination with other sectors, and of course collaboration. So thank you. I am ready for some questions, if ever there are questions, and of course if there are those who want to share their experience on this issue. Before the question, ako lang dahil gustong i-share ang sa slide ang akong gihimo nga story sa para sa akong DevCom nga class, no, because I'm doing a development journalism nga klase karon, and ongoing ang first part pala ang nahuman ani nga project tungod sa daghang kalihukan. Igawas ni siya sa bukidnonnews.net. So atong gi-cover ang storya behind sa 500 katong total of 539 hectares of tree plantations nga nasunog sa Malaybalay in at least 2 months, no? 2 months. So covering marag 539 hectares. So nalipay ta kay na access sa bukso ang atong City Enro, nakaadto ta didto. And then what did we do sa atong story is ato po siyang gi-extend sa dili lang isa ka source, no? Ato pong gi-interview ang mga uban nga mga sources. So for example, naatay sa City Council, unya naka-interview pud ta sa katong kadti holders, katong mga giakusahan nga marag dinha nahitabo ang gituyo nga mga pagpanunog. Unya ongoing karon ang atong interview sa mga forest firefighters, no? Nga sila gid ang nangusog dito sa area para patyon ang kalayo nga gituyo day pagsunog sa uban nga mga sectors. So we are napo sa second part ani nga story, and medyo na slow down ta kay primarily ang akong trabaho naman gid karon is as a faculty and as an administrative designate diri sa Bukso, pero padayon nato nga gina-cover ang mga issues kay kung dili dayon kuno nato na i-cover ganina sa akong interview sa mga forest fighters natun-an ako kana ding atong makita bitaw nga mga sea of clouds, kanang sea of clouds dili man din siya kanang amazing. And as sila term magigamit na kanang
We are autonomous
nag-trap di ay
robotic
ang
organisms
kanilang
from a
vapor, di na sila makasaka sa taas. And instead of being happy that there is a sea of clouds, we are supposed to be sad because it's hazardous in general, no, sa ano, visually okay, pero if you can langhap the kuno the air from there, it's potentially hazardous to our health. So anyway, that's all from my side, and I'm ready for questions if there are questions.
I believe Sir Rudy has a
Okay.
question, sir.
Well, years
Sir
ago,
Rudy.
okay, do you copy me? Well, years
Yes,
ago,
sir.
kini mga cogunal areas in our forests, katuyo nagsunog sa mga hill tribesmen kaniadto. Reason is that after it is burned, mga wild animals, pigs, deer, mga na din na ila din ng pangguklon. So kana nga culture ba ni class man na sa karon. Kay di ba na ang may Republic Act nga burning is really a violation of a certain law.
Yes, sir.
Na nag-class ang culture karon ug kanang na ang atong mga latest mga Republic Acts. How would you react to that?
Thank you, Sir Rudy. Actually, dili ko reliable source in terms of this, no, but based on my interview with Attorney Bert Estrada, he is I think the one of the head or the chieftains of the Bukidnon Tagulwanon. Siya magod akong napangutana kay ang areas nga marag hot zone batong tawag nila na sila'y mga hotspots, I mean sa sunog sa Malaybalay katong 539 hectares. It happened in 5 barangays, no, so Patpat, Dalwangan, Canayan, Barangay 1 and Kasisang. If I'm not mistaken, kani ang mga 5 ka barangay nga gi-consider nga hotspot sa Malaybalay City. So kani sila nga mga areas, naa din ni ang area nila sa mga Tagulwanon, no. So ako siyang gipangutana, sir, ingon siya nga dugay na sa day sila nga naga work together with the city enro. Nag-training sila sa ilahang mga forest guards. Ang city enro gi-train ang mga bagani, mga guards sa forest sa tribo aron mag-fight po ug mag-protect sa kahoy. Pero iniingon siya, sir, si Sir Attorney Estrada na they support also ongoing investigation kay ingon gyud sa city government. I heard from the forest fighters this morning na gusto gyud ni Mayor nga sampulan nga naagi madakpan gyud niya nagsunog sa mga ilang uma nga ni lahos na dayon sa ubang area, so sa dako nga area. So consider di ay nga extreme gyud ang atong weather condition diri sa Malaybalay unya. Gamay lang daw kuno nga baga nga mapalid sa hangin makakos na og hectares of sunog, no. So munang crucial kayo ang role sa magbantay niya. Ingon niya kung naay madakpan basta na ebidensya suportahan pud nila mutabang sila sa gobyerno aron nga madakpan gyud og masampulan gyud. Pero ingon pud sa mga forest fighters lisod gyud kuno kay makadakop kay pagpaingon pa lang nila daan magtago-tago na diretso, no. So there has to be some other ways nga pwede mahimo. Sama po, for example, daw kuno sa kanang information drive o education yun nga himuon sa sulod sa tribo and a collaboration with the different multi-stakeholders para ani matubag siya ma-address siya. Although right now ongoing pa bud atong study sa research ani Sir Rudy, or nakita nato nga isa day sa mga reasons nga nung dili tayo strong ang atong protection is partly kuno kay kulang ang budget o kulang ang attention sa forest protection. Sa tibok Pilipinas wala di ay tay guidelines, no, wala tay law nga naga-provide for how much attention should be given to forest protection in terms of firefighting in the forest. So kana Sir Rudy ang akong mahatag atubag. I hope it
Thank you.
give some answer to your question.
Klaro kayo, klaro. Kani pong ato
Thank you.
mga rivers bitaw, talking about garbage, daghan kay gipanglabay din nga karon. Bisan pag mag-inventory bitaw ta sa ato mga rivers works, daghan gyud kay din nga mga discarded na mga garbage. Kung saan na to pag-address ini, now, sa ato mga broadcast, we have been telling people na bawal ginang paglabay din na sa ato mga rivers. Na naamang yun, you can see it. Naamang yun sa Waga River, Manopali River, even Pulangi. Naagi mga garbage makita ni mo din. So dako na nga problem na to sa atong ecological na information dissemination lugar. Kay karon pag gani ka na sisgot nga kining climate change is a real thing, di ba? So balik nimo, Chris.
Thank you, Sir Rudy. Siguro ang akong matubag is akong ihagiton ang atong mga kauban nga mga media practitioners here, no, to ask these questions to our local government, to our community stakeholders. Isa sa mga pangutana siguro is kumusta ang implementation sa Ecological Solid Waste Management Act 9003, no, kung naabay monitoring sa ani nga mga violations niya, unsa bay kusog sa ngipon sa mga balaod, no, sa pag-implement, and if ever nga nagpalpak ta unsa day ang pwede himuon aron ma-address gyud na siya nga problema. So I invite our journalists, no, na maybe as one of the impact or as one of the outcomes of this conversation nato sa World Press Freedom Day, nasulti man dito sa unahan, no, nga dili lang ta mo report nga na damage na ang atong pag-report, makatabang sad nga ma-impluwensya ang gobyerno, ma-impluwensya ang balaod, ma-impluwensya ang implementation. So tungod sa atong pag-follow up, tungod sa atong pag-imbestiga, I hope na makatabang ta nga magmatngon ang mga dapat mag-deliver sa ilang trabaho nga aron malikayan ang kining mga trahedya. Dili na lang ta nga sad na lang atong balita nga mag-report na lang ta sa epekto nga trahedya na siya moabot or disaster na siya moabot sa ato. So we are very much a part of katong ang atong coverage ako kay matabang yun diya sa aron malikayan, no, so mahimong vigilant sa atong pag-cover. And I think one requirement for this is for us to read the Republic Act 9003 and how it should be implemented at the local level para magtipto pod ang atong mga governments, ang atong mga nga moadto ta didto nga mag-monitor ta aron ang atong coverage will become useful pod sa pag-implement. So that's all I can say on that, Sir Rud. Thank you for your questions.
Salamat yun. Well, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Walter and Sir Rudy. If napay gusto mangutana kang Sir Walter, we still have time po. Anyone else?
Ma'am Tai, if there is none, pwede po na atong tagsa-tagsaon og hangyo ang atong mga kauban nga wala pa nakastorya, no, for them to share to us, no, unsa ang ilahang reactions or insights, if they want to share unsa ang ilahang na-cover nga mga environment stories in nutshell lang, briefly lang, para ma-accommodate po nato ang uban nga mga ano. So I think that will be better case versus ako lang yun ang magstorya, no. So I'm hoping na the rest can also share. Maybe we can start with the others. Mag-run through ko dali sa attendance sheet. For example, sa DXBU or sa
I think Ma'am Ching is raising her hand.
Okay, Ma'am Ching, go ahead.
Hello. What? Kadunggan ko?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible po.
Lagi, matingala ko, di kay kadungog unsay. Anyway, oo. Waltz isa sa kuan, angay bantayan siguro nato kay bago lang nako nakuha ang report sa CDRRMO Valencia. Ilag yung actual ang pagsubay sa fault line sa Valencia. Doon na tayo fault line sa Valencia nga ang description nila sa what do you call this, kining Phoebox potentially active nga pwede siya mag-generate og 7 magnitude nga linog og gasubay siya sa unsa ni kini bitong area sa gikan diri sa diversion paingon dito sa diversion sa Valencia paingon dito sa San Carlos, lapos dito sa may Malingon nga area og duna say kining gikan sa sugod nga bridge paingon dito sa may Sawaga. Anyway, mo ni siya ang ngayon siguro sad natog apil og tutok. Tungod kay ang 7 magnitude nga linog nga pwede i-generate ani do ingon ang P-box nga pwede siya matunaw, pwede siya mapikot kumbaga kay siak man ni siya sa yuta. Anyway, ang kwan lang karon, ang demand lang karon so far sa kung kadawatan nga report is makapagawas ang P-box o ang CDRMO o sakto nga unsay tawag ani linyada ba kung asa gyud siya specific nga gasubay para nga mahatagan natong awareness ang mga tao kay kabaw na ba yata nga ang Bukidnon ga linog-linogon pod. So isa ni sa angayan pod natong hatagan og kana bitong importansya ang pag-report labot ani para sa mga tao nga ma-aware kung unsa ang epekto niini sa komunidad labi na diri dapita sa amo sa Valencia. Thank you, Waltz.
Thank you, Ma'am Ching, no? And so I will apply ang katong ingon nako gaganina nga ang event-based versus angle issue-based, no? So now we have a report nga na ang P-box katong nag-as nako sa Valencia atong April 25 nadunggan na nako no from the city information. Unya so karon muna siya ang possible na issue-based or ang event-based nag-visit si P-box. Possibly what could be an issue-based treatment of this coverage. So isa sa mga indicators nga mahimong issue-based is ang pag-cover nato sa possible impact. So for example, unsa may implications sa mga building structures na-implement ba nato ang katong mga sa engineering nga mga para sa mga building structures. Then kung inana nga possible asa ni nga mga areas ang possible affected. So in terms of kay ang hadlok man gud ana Ma'am Ching no kung mag-alarmist ang atong mga balita. So mga hadlok na hinuon nga mga taranta nya daghan na ba kaayo mag anxiety no so basig ano so instead of just causing alarm but actually drawing out possible action plans. What can be mitigations to address it? Although di man na ma-predict, but if ever may tabo ni unsa ang mga preparation sa mga tao ni ani. So thank you for that, Ma'am Ching. Sa LGU, pangutanon nato ang LGU, no? If we want to have a issue-based coverage of the issue. So it's not just about the event, the incident, but the implications ani sa kinabuhi sa mga tao, and duty bound ang LGU to tell us what can be done. Thank you for that, Ma'am Ching. Yes, back to you, Ma'am Tyrese.
Alright, thank you so much. Sige, murag ni daghan na pud ta karon, sir. Who else can we call here? Can we call
Well, pwede
how
mo
about sa
balik,
Wonder
Lord?
si Rudy daw, sir.
Balik ko, pwede?
Go,
Yes,
Sir Rudy.
Okay.
So, thank you, Ma'am Ceres. Kining Waltz, multiple times I've been saying this in many occasions nga the government has been planning, doing several activities about this risk reduction movement for destructions caused by nature. Pero absolutely there is none for destruction caused by man. What I'm saying is war about war. If there is a shooting war, we don't have any preparation for the civilians, considering the fact that we have these advanced missiles, bombs, this clusters bang ibumba na dapit sa malay-balay, haros kina padong sa dalwangan, one bomb, in anak ka powerful. So, hurot ginagkasunog din ha. Ang mga tao lugar, everything, along lipat. Now, example, kanang Ukraine, kung wala pa na mo dig in ang mga tao din ha, dugay na nahurot ta. Constant bombing sa Russians. Dinis ato, I'm going back to the local scene. Mas maayigirong ta na ang government mo design ba kung unsa hitsura inig yung atong missiles. Ay buta ta bomb shelter. Di man mahimo og kakita ray magkaut-kaut kay di man ta mahibaw sa engineering ana. Munang may unta kun duna nagay preparation nato. Kay di ang tension sa Philippines ug China and America grabe na di gigayo. Ang events karon gyud it's a matter of who pulls the triggers first. Naana biya. Munay akong nano man nga wala may preparation nato karon for a disaster risk reduction plan lugar caused by man. Inana ro, kung sa adding mo yun eh. So,
Sir Rudy, thank you. Thank you, Sir Rud. Same no, atong ipangutanag yun sa CDR. Although dili man kay ta kuan na may mga incidents, di ba, for example katong pag-atake sa NPA sa Malaybalay, no. So mga shock ta ato. And then around us there are a lot of issues. So basig pwede mangutana ta sa mga ongoing na mga preparations sa atong mga for a third, for example, although dili man na sila mohatag og detalye, ang inahalang ana is ang sitwasyon nato sa peace and order sa tibok probinsya, no. So we can ask, no, again I will direct the question to the media, asking these questions to our government and other sectors. Thank you, Sir Rudy. Pasensya ka, Sir Rudy, wa kay matubag.
Okay. Kuan lang ba, preparations lang gid ba?
Yes, sir.
The problem is real. It's a real problem. Wala tay preparation. If there is a shooting war between China and America because of Taiwan, disgrasya maging Philippines. Nawa
Yes, sir.
magi preparation karon nato. Kita mga civilian, kaluoy, including the military and the police, because they are human beings. Kihangan gyud, we have got to go underground soon. So inana gyud concern kay ta na ba, everybody is concerned.
Lisod Zagmon.
Because this is bitaw. Thank you, Sir Rudy.
Oh,
thank you, Sir Rudy.
Back to your work.
Thank you. Back to you, Ma'am Tai. I hope you got my message, Ma'am Tyrese. If we can also, basig na offline si Ma'am Tyrese, if we can also get inputs or sharing from Wonder Radio, CMU, FM Radio, Bukidnon FM Radio, and BNFM. Basig we can get some quick sharing sa ato ang mga feedback baka or question. I'm sure mas maayo ni sa ato ang cover ato mga ka-okay sunan sa radyo, no, because it's a different kanang environment out there. While Ma'am Tyrese is not yet back in the hall, in the room, na siya. So Ma'am Ty, I was asking if somebody from the Wonder Radio can give a question or ask a question or give a feedback.
Yes,
and
sir, sige po.
then BNFM o kanang FM Radio 105.1.
Alright.
Program
Can
pa
we
daw ang
ask?
BNFM.
Okay. Sige, unahan na to
Wonder.
si Wonder Radio. Anyone from Wonder Radio po? Hello po.
Bisan asa biya ko moadto sa sa upper pula sa Basakan area. Kusog ka ang Wonder Radio po, no. What about sa kuan?
How about CMU?
CMU.
Okay, let's try CMU.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir. Sir Waltz. Nakita na po
Hello,
kita.
Jane.
Nandun pa ka na po,
MJ.
sir.
Hello, MJ. Yes, MJ.
Yes, sir. Thank you kayo, Sir Waltz, sa kanang insightful nga mga discussions. Yes, sir, kanang na-appreciate kayo na mo, sir, kay lately lang, naamo po naitabo diri sa Muson Peak nga almost murag sobra 8 hectare gid ang nasunog gid siya na ang affected nga areas. So nangutana ko sa mga kauban, Sir Waltz, na ba'y na-cover or anything kay para pod ma-actionan bitaw siya kay syempre issue. So ang angle gid is kanang issue gid siya sa issue nga koan. So wala gid naka-cover, murag I think wala gid naka-cover adto Sir Waltz, pero naa mi mga taga forestry mao gyud kuan tanan unsa ni nagkuan sila mga detalye pero murag ambot ahapod to nila na kuan nahatag nga mga details or bilagid ang nakuan sa po'y mga hinungdan. So Answer Waltz kanang yun ana ang kanang narapod kanang ako na pong i-share ang kanang kuan ako ang mga nakuha ko dinhi sa imong discussion kani ang about atong mga angles di ba kay mo gina akong ginakuan sa imo sa una sir sa pag angle. So, duha ka klase, karon pa ko kuan nga seminar kay ako man ang gipa-appeal ni Ma'am Irene. So, event og ang issue. So, once nga na mga ingon ana labi na sa mga katilingban nga mga issue. So, kanang makahibalo na dayon ta unsaon nato pag-angle, focus ba ta sa event or mo focus ta sa issue. So, dako kayo siya og ko answer katabang nga kay aron nga kanang ang mga concerned nga mga office sa ato ang mga government mahibalo sila maka-implement sila og mga insakto nga mga pamaagi unsaon nato pag-address ang kanang mga panghitabo nga sa ato ang palibot. So mora to siya sa ko ang ma-share. Thank you kaayo sa imuhang insightful nga kuan nga imuhang lecture karon nga hapon. Mayong hapon sa tanan.
Thank you, MJ. Even prior, MJ, no, mga university o LGU nga mga media can pursue stories that are issue-based, no? Pwede
Yes.
matutukan. Kay
Yes,
naaman
sir.
mo yung resources, naaman mo yung budget, naaman mo yung mga items nga full-time ang inyong mga reporter. So, as part of the CMU information dissemination to its stakeholders, you can cover the issue and you can release it sa inyong website. Actually, there's no one stopping us from doing that, no? Kay appeal na ta karon ang mga state universities nga o mga LGUs na mandated to write stories, not just the media, the private sector media, no? Kay para matabangan pud jud nato og kuan. And of course,
Yeah.
you can help media by providing information, no? Helping facilitate that information can be accessible
Yeah.
to them whenever they need it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Thank you very much, Ma'am MJ. Ma'am Tyrus, maybe we have time for one or two feedback para maabot na to ang atong time. We are
Sige, sir.
almost running out of time.
Sige po. Can we try someone from 105? Ma'am Janify, I believe, ang
Sir
username
Johnny
here sa
na, si
Zoom
Johnny
call.
Pie. Johnny
Okay
Pie
po.
na, nili na siya ma'am. Sir na siya.
Sir, sorry po. Sir Janify, do you have any comments, questions, best practices that you can share with the group?
Busy siguro kaayo ni si Sir Johnny. John? Johnny Pie? Okay, what about balikan na to tong Wonder?
Sige po. Wonder Malay-Balay, do you have anything to share with the group or any question that you may want to ask Sir Walter? Hold on, I think Ma'am Ching is raising her hand. Ma'am Ching?
Yes, Waltz, more balik ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Oo. Isa sa dilemma o reklamo sa atong mga kuan ko gamay ha sa kay environment man lang atong focus, pero dunay gamay nga dilemma sa atong mga reporters lately kini bitong pagdili sa ah though dapat i-practice pero medyo doon na lang gamay bikil kining paghingalan sa mga biktima sa mga um, krimen o kining mga vehicular accidents nga uh, kung tanawon sad nimo ang mga police blotters o police reports sa gikan sa PNP, usahay talagsa na lang gid nila mabutang ang pangalan mo ng usahay kaingon ko nga ang atong practice sa kinibitang 5 Ws and 1H murag sa 5 Ws murag 4 na lang gid ang kakabilin kay ang who dili na gyud matumbok. I'm sure once nakabot ni sa imuha and usahay case to case magikabaw magidana nga ang sa atong practice before kining mga unsa tawag ani mga na rape kining mga child abuse mga inaani nga mga kwan dili kwanta nga dili na to ibulgar kung kinsa ni sila. Pero lately, murag laras naman tanan, mo nang usahay ang uban mingon sila naunsa naman ta ani nga di naman ta maka-mention unya di na ta kabalo ang uban nga mga kuan nato mga amigo mingon sila nga sa man yung balita ching di naman ta kabalo nga tong amigo naman itong nadisgrasya tus maramag nya namatay na di ay because ang mga sakop sa media labi na sa unsay tawag ani broadcast dili na gid nila ma-mention kinsa tong mga nadisgrasya tungod kay unsay tawag ani gidid-an naman og pwede na takasuhan sa mga ingonana do usahay dunay mga controversy atong mga amigo gihapon nga mga sakop sa media nga magaka-involve sa mga inaani nga dili sa tila magakapugngan ba. So anyway, ako ano po na ko imong take ani Waltz kay murag wa na to ning istoryahe.
Thank you kaayo Ma'am Ching no. Because I was a reporter so naapod ko ana nga each bitaw nga kinsa man gyud kinsa. And then dapat gyud mo gawas gyud ni ang iyang ngalan. Pero when I attended more sessions on the basic legal media competency and ethical training and then kanipong data privacy nakapang ang isa sa mga gipangutana sa ako as a resource person is inani one of the best measures whether you should really reveal the name of the victim, the name of the perpetrator is ibutang daw nimo ang imong kaugalingon kung ikaw ang naa didto. For example, ikaw ang nadisgrasya, ikaw ang nahimong suspect, ikaw ang nahimong kanang suspect or victim. So ibutang daw nimo didto ang imong kaugalingon didto. So kung tan-aw nimo okay ra ba? Okay ba kaha nga mastaring dito automatic kay because usahay there is a problem with kanabitawang media nga mas nauna pa natog pagawas ang ngalan sa mga biktima sa nadisgrasya sa mangima nga na slide nga sakyanan sa van kaysa nakabalo ang ilahang pamilya. No, so I learned that later no nga there are stories, there are cases nga kanang basig kinahanglan mahatag ang ngalan pero naghunahuna pug ko think twice bugo kay sometimes there are other considerations other than our right to know sa media. So these people nga nagaka-victim sa mga accidents or they're suspects of crimes, they are also individuals, private persons, and the kanang automatic nga pag-release sa ilahang ngalan without their consent or automatic nga pag-release sa ngalan even at preliminary stages of investigation pa may pose some unfairness. There might be some unfairness there sa ilahang part. So mo tong giingon niya sa ako kung ikaw okay ra ba kung ang nadisgrasya ka dahil ang una din nga nabalaan sa imong pamilya kay sa radyo sa silingan. So marang inana. So there are process man that we will follow for example for accidents to reveal the names. Akong pangutana sa isa ka reporter nga nangutana sa ako ang question is kanang ngano man gyud nga naman gyud tay itch because the who there is pwede raman nato siya ma-alter na isa ka tawo nga nag-edad o taga inani o isa ka mag-uuma para in that stage of the investigation pwede sa nato siya maproteksyonan kay basin lang gyud pod og he is wrongfully accused or he was just a person in the wrong place, no? So there are some portions na dili ta kinahanglan nato dali-dalion o reveal ang ilang identity because sometimes our speedy ang kanang pinaspasay nga pagpagawas nato sa ilaha sa atong ilang mga pangalan may caused some harm sa ilaha and some of these harms is no longer reversible. So marag lisod na bawion, for example, nabawaan dito na pangalan dito niya incidental naman gid nga naa dito or or na suspect pa gid siya niya later on sa kaso di ay pag-imbestiga na prove man gid nga dili man gid siya ang suspect. So now our usahay ang atong parang atong kuan ba atong clamor for transparency in terms of the name is so powerful and so strong. But sometimes, ingon sa akong speaker, ingon sa akong resource person, sometimes we need to mellow down just to protect the person also from harm. Kaya even gani ang mga kanang convicted criminals or those who are under investigation, they still have some rights nga i-reserve sa gobyerno. And one of that is privacy. Bisan pag na-convict na ta pero kung maligo ta di pa gyapon mawala ang atong right nga kanang maligo ta nga dili ta makita sa uban. No, there are some rights na dili nato mawala and we have to as a matter of respect, humanitarian consideration, media should think twice no sa tan-aw nako. Rushing maybe later on kung ma-prove na pwede nato ma-reveal pero right now dili ta magpadala-dala nga mag-rush ta apilon na to nga i-rush kay ngano igawas na magud na mong report karon alas 3 kinahanglan na mo ngalan so natay inana nga itch usahay katul na to usahay ba pero in another way di ay let us have a possible kanang ko ano if it does not affect others also no kay for example kung nadakpan naman siya so nakakuha na siya na hold na siya dito so mahibaw-an na in some other ways nga ay katud ay ang nadakpan mo man ditong nangilad sa ano but media can do that at the right time. There is always the right time for that, no? And sometimes you have to really think twice nga kanibang atong strategy are we not also causing harm? Because sa kuan sa ethics ang isa ka general principle is minimize harm or generally do no harm. No, so we cannot be doing additional harm to the people na nasangkot sa isa ka mga incident. Anyway, there could be another venue na ato ni siyang mapalawman Ma'am
Yes.
Ching, no? This is one favorite topic that I talk about with my students in media ethics and sa ako pong PhD, no? So pero na mga other considerations and assumptions that we need to consider. So maybe I will not give you a very square answer on this, but generally the main consideration is privacy and respect.
Anyway, ako lang gi-appeal was kay usa sab sa dilemma sa atong mga reporters nga mga kauban kay gapugong ta gina si tawag ani gina-preserve nato kung unsa ang dapat. Pero sa social media magod kay lantaran na dito unya dayon sa ko nang gikaingon kaganiya kompetisyon unya mingon dayon ang uban ng atong mga audience may pa dito sa Facebook kay gi-reveal na ang mga pangalan unya kamo diya sa video wa pagid mo makakuha kung unsay pangalan adto. Anyways, masabtan man nato sila wa mas nakabawgod yung atong mga oo. So usahay pait lang kay makwanta ba. Oo. Sir, thank you
Don't
kayo.
worry. Thank you, Ma'am Ching. Don't worry, Ma'am Ching. Naana ang cybercrime or cyber libel. So, kung paspas kaayo sila mo atong information niya, nasipyat sila in the process, I'm sure we can seek the refuge of cyber libel. Sa itong mga tao nga na biktima sila sa aning mga rash decisions, pwede gamiton ang cyber libel nga cases against them. So kita dili lang yun nato tan-awon nga na alkansi ko dito da, napildi ko dito da. Let us look at the overall picture. Ang atong pinaka main goal is to provide our citizens, our audience with accurate and information nga na-impact without causing unnecessary harm sa atong mga katawhan. So we hopefully can invite another speaker or we can talk more about that in another venue. Daghang salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am Teres, few seconds lang input. Pwede?
Sige, Sir Rudy.
Okay. Well, there is really a need for all of us to undergo a basics in news gathering, news writing, broadcasting. Pwede man siguro das bukso niya one day murag briefing kay dako gyud kayo bisag obserbahan nimo daghang gyud kayo sayo. Na reminded ko sulti ni Ching ba kan ato din na kadaghan biya kay ato mga bag-o pagin mga reporters nga kuang gyud kayo taon uptick gyud kayo, they are trying their best pero ang background ba nila wa in taon kayo kuan basic sa ato news gathering, news interviewing, writing and broadcasting. One day siguro okay na. Pwede man siguro ato pa-sponsor kaysa pa-sponsor na to kay lisod mo po magkuhan tag registration. Kana ra akong
Agree gyud ko ana, sir.
Ha?
Agree gyud kay ko ni ana.
Mo man ay gunaw na to kay naagi atong drawback ginato na dinhi. Tanawar ko ng 7 o'clock newscast nato mabuntag pastilan daghan ang diferensya gyud. Kino nahisgutan nam gunato dinhi dili magganon tay mag-comment ka. Pero nga ato dinhi kay kayuhan mas tanan. So sa academe nato si Walter gid mo atong poste. Isgutan lang nato daday
kay You're the man.
Si Walter ato dinhi. Yes, di guy.
Maybe we could request siguro, sir, sa PAIA, the provincial government, so the PAIA, we could request for them para maka-sponsor.
Kana one day lang. One day man kayo na.